I'm Kristen Kish, I'm a chef, and this is how I work it. I'm gonna take you through 24 hours of my beauty and wellness routine. Food to me is my love language. I know we've all read that book. We all know which ones we are. Food needs to be right in there. I've been in this industry for over 15 years, give or take. Arlo Gray opened June of 2018. I'm the executive chef and partner. I went to culinary school in Chicago, had my first executive chef position at 24. I eventually went on TV, won Top Chef Season 10 in Seattle, hosted a show on Travel Channel called 36 Hours in partnership with the New York Times, wrote a cookbook, Kristen Kish Cooking, Recipes and Techniques, and I have a new TV show called Fast Foodies. The most challenging part of being a chef, we miss holidays and special occasions and we work weekends. It's hard for me to say there's a negative because I live and breathe this industry. I love it. It's what I feel good at. It's what I am most confident in. The most rewarding part to working in a restaurant, whether you're the chef or you're a part of the team, is when that team vibes and you create that family. That is a bond like you will never ever have.
Good morning to 6 a.m. Austin time.
I kind of enjoy now, more than I ever have, waking up when it's still just a little bit dark out. There's a peace and like this calm that I need going into perhaps not a very calm day. Beauty and wellness. What is that? Just kidding. I think it's funny that I'm even here talking about beauty and wellness because I just quit smoking. I always start with about a pint of water. I like to freshly juice lemon and ginger. If you need a juicer, the Omega juicer is like so good. And so I do a couple tablespoons of this concentrate with cold water. I have to drink my water cold. Here's great. And then from there, I typically have 3 coffees.
With my first coffee, I get started on emails.
My first hour and a half that I'm up is like my meditation. It's my quiet time. It's the only thing that I ever have consistent in my life is water, coffee, and a shower. That's it. Some days I don't even take a shower, I'm not gonna lie. I swear I don't smell. I am Korean and I don't produce body odor. It's like a fun fact that I like to talk about at parties. If I could figure out how to bottle up that gene, let's all take a minute and think about this. I feel like we could all benefit. We are now all part of the same business plan. And we're all rich now.
First time I think I've ever recorded myself in the bathroom.
Oh wait, I do have something that's like beauty-ish. I am obsessed with my teeth.
I use an electric toothbrush. I'm accused of using too much toothpaste, but I feel like this is an appropriate amount. I do use a lot of floss because I like to feel like each tooth is getting a clean piece.
And I whiten them religiously. So I use crushed white strips. I probably use them a couple times a month. I like nice teeth. I appreciate nice teeth. I like to keep them white. I've never had braces. I've never been to an orthodontist a day in my life. I don't know my birth parents, so whoever gave me these teeth, thank you very much.
Here we go. So,
the majority of my life, I use Dove bar soap. I use it on my face, I use it on my body. Sometimes if I got real lazy, I used it in my hair. I did kind of have a little glow up. I started buying this bar soap that's a French brand that's like pH balanced.
lather soap.
Starts with a G, don't know how to pronounce it. Pretty sure it ends with 2 E's.
And then I rinse it off. Pretty riveting material.
I still use Dove soap on the body. And then there's a little 2-ounce lotion that cost me like $45, which is like mind-blowing to me that you would spend that much on lotion. But I got obsessed with it because I love the way it smells.
And then my lotion. Again, very fancy for me because I was, for a long time user of just a cheap bottle of lotion from CVS. I feel like I learned putting it on my face like this in like magazines or something. And then I wrote it, someone is definitely cringing right now. And I always do my neck.
I moisturize, and that is all you want on your face because there's nothing worse than opening up an oven, a steam oven, and then like if you had mascara on or other makeup, it would probably like cake to your face.
Pro tip with me and my hair when I have greasy ends, because I have very coarse, thick Asian hair, is sometimes just wipe the rest of my hair.
Pre-COVID, I had buzz sides and like, you know, kind of like a coif thing, and I would get haircuts every week and a half. I've always wanted to shave my head, and I eventually did not too long ago, a few months ago. Also, again, because COVID, I had to learn how to buzz my own hair, so I give myself my own haircuts now, which is really fun. It's a 1, it's a 2, it's a 3, and then it's a grazing of a 4. So if we probably look a little close and I like turn, you'll see a line that I didn't know how to blend, but what are you gonna do? The only makeup I ever wear, and it's only because I'm when I'm in front of a camera, I'll do this black eyeshadow about this big. And I think I bought it from CVS like 8 years ago. And I still have it because that's how often I don't wear makeup. And then some Neutrogena like mascara, and that's it, Carmex. That's all. After I do the coffee, water, shower, brush your teeth, I'm obsessed with ironing. So I need all my aprons and my shirts to be freshly pressed.
I feel like it's also worth noting that I love a lint roller. So anything that's dark, typically my hat, my jeans, aprons, I do like to lint roll.
So I have full kind of sleeves, I guess, from on both arms, and then a few like small things on my neck. When tattoos are fresh, I like to use Aquaphor, Paw, or whatever kind of Vaseline stuff you have on it. And then after that, I just use a Vino lotion, just like as if I didn't have a tattoo.
I always like my arms moisturized. Sometimes I forget about my legs because I'm wearing pants, and then you put your jeans on and then you just don't want to take your jeans off and put it back on. But my arms are mostly always exposed in some way, so I do remember to do that. And then my hands. I'm wiping on my lips. And that's it.
Blundstones are amazing. They are waterproof and heat proof. Like you pour boiling water on that toe and you're not gonna feel anything. When I'm working in the kitchen, the last thing I do is kind of care about everything that's happening. I want to feel good in like my apron and my shirt. I'm very specific. Some people call me high maintenance. Ultimately, the running river that ties everything together in my life is comfort and efficiency. I am so specific with how I want to feel, whether it's what soap I use or what shirt I choose to wear. Those are all driven because growing up, I was struggling with my sexuality, and I was trying to fit into a world as a straight Asian woman. I wanted to fit into like this like quintessential feminine world that I was supposed to follow. And so I would put on the short shirts and like I'd grow my hair out and I would put on eyeshadow and wear these shirts that just were so uncomfortable to be in. And because I think I distinctly remember so vividly like the discomfort that I felt in those moments for much of my life, I am so specific now in finding and doing the exact opposite. So now I throw myself into like, Kristen, what makes you feel comfortable? And I become so obsessed with what that looks like and what that feels like to me from the inside out.
Now we have the accessory of the year, which is a mask. And now we can go.
Arlo Gray is housed in the Line Hotel right downtown. I live in the hotel. So I have a very simple commute. Push the elevator button, and I ride the elevator down, hang a right, and I'm in my restaurant. I'll swing through the coffee shop down on the lower level. I'll get another coffee just to kind of sip throughout the day. Always drink your coffee from a reusable or a eco-friendly straw because it keeps your teeth white. When I walk through the restaurant, your eyes never shut off from looking at anything. So I'm constantly looking at the floors, the tables, if there's dust that needs to be wiped. In a restaurant, consistency is huge. I need the candles to always sit to the left of the flower vase. If you're standing at seat 1, position 1 at a table. If you talk restaurants, you all know what that means. Within a matter of 10 seconds from elevator to kitchen door, walking through the dining room, I have scanned the entire room and I check the reservations like neurotically. I'll say hello to the front of the house and then I work my way into the kitchen.
And in the kitchen, Chef Alex, Mark, Sam being shy, Martine, Gwen, Spencer, Darby, oh my gosh, so many people.
Opening a restaurant is unlike anything that you can really fully explain. It is this adrenaline feed that just keeps going. I lived in Austin for 2 years through construction, picking plateware and glassware and the forks and setting up the kitchen and writing menus and doing food costing. Is a lot of time in front of a computer, like nearly 20 plus hours a day. When we were first opening, I was there till about 11:30 at night, and then I would show up at 5:30 in the morning because we opened for breakfast at 6 a.m. So anywhere from 18, 19 hours a day, right at the beginning, to now I have a really fantastic team. My daily operations within the restaurant look very, very different than they did 2 years ago. My job now is to keep a standard, keep an expectation, doing a lot of edits, reviews, that kind of stuff, and be present during service for my team. It's the only thing that ever feels so natural to me in my entire life is working in restaurants, truthfully.
One of my favorite things are all my little notebooks. So these are pages from my actual notebooks that we use as art.
Our menu at Arlo Gray, typically when people ask, hey Kristen, what's your food? And I'm like, wow, that's really hard. I grew up in the Midwest, a very comfortable, like comfort food, meat and potatoes, and a lot of boxed things. So for me, it's rooted in French technique, Italian influence through pasta, but ultimately it's a story of my life. Good food is good food, but great food comes with a story. The most popular dish on my menu is a house-made muffaldini. We make it beautifully through our gorgeous Italian pasta extruder. And then I do a champignon sauce, which is essentially just a fancier word for mushroom sauce. It's like salty, it's umami, but that dish was inspired off of my love of Hamburger Helper. Restaurants define a true culture and sense of place. We aren't just there to serve you, we're there to define hospitality and leave you with a memory, hopefully a good one. And to be able to do that through the medium of food, it's like, how amazing is that, you know? Every day is not rainbows and butterflies, and every day there are challenges, but at the end of the day, we are there to provide an act of service, which I feel like is the greatest thing, and the world needs more of them. I'm, again, neurotic about my nails because of my profession, so I have to keep them short. They are considered long when you can see like the nail come just slightly above. I just trimmed them this morning. I probably cut them 1 or 2 times a week just to keep them this length. And then I started doing a clear coat just because when I look down at my hands, I kind of like when like it hits the light. I don't know, that's like my I got fancy with clear nail polish. My mentor, Barbara Lynch, is definitely a trailblazer. She saw things in people, you know, we weren't capable of seeing in ourselves. And so without her, I would have never put myself out there in a way that I could be judged. She's the one who put me forth for Top Chef. And I was like, I do not want to do Top Chef. It was something I never, ever, really ever wanted to do. But she looked at me straight in my eyes. And this was a point where like women in the industry was even far less of a thing we talked about than we do now, but she was like, women need to be in front of the camera. Women, you need to represent for women chefs. You can go on this show, you can win it. I know you can do it, so you're going, and you have no choice. Here I am, like a completely shy, insecure, awkward, socially anxious kind of person in a lot of different ways, and then she throws me on TV, and then eventually I did well. My whole life just kind of flipped upside down from that point forward. For her to see something in me basically gave myself permission through her to be exactly who I am and allow that to shine, because I'm not meant to be anybody other than myself, whether I'm in front of a camera or not. I have a new show coming out on TruTV. It's called Fast Foodies.
Experience a gourmet twist on fast food.
Me and 2 other chefs basically invite a celebrity guest into our kitchen. We cook their favorite fast food, and then we kind of remix it into like this weird contorted, like our chef brains take over. You said your favorite part of the hot dog was the poppy seed bun.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you little mini Sardinian gnocchettini that look like your little poppy seed bun.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Kristen won, everybody.
Everyone offers hair and makeup. I typically say no, to be honest. I'm like, I don't want stuff on my face. If you want, you can just put a little bit of powder here, because this becomes like a headlight. But again, if I'm cooking, the last thing I want to do is look like I'm wearing makeup. We're about 5 minutes before service, 20 minutes before our first reservation, so every yurt is ready and set. Team setting up. Say hello.
Hello.
It's a very, very special dining experience here. When you work in restaurants, and I think a lot of people will mirror this sentiment, is that you always have to remain on like the verge of hunger. Because if you're too full and then you're around food and you're like, ew, this is gross. And then when I know I'm kind of slowing down and the night is kind of coming to an end, I'll do like my main sweep through the dining room. That kind of marks the end of the evening. And then I'll typically start shoveling food in my face. So as chefs, we eat standing up most of the time out of plastic containers over a trash can. And that is my preferred way of eating. Typical day in the restaurant, I probably don't go to bed till midnight. By the time I take a shower, I do my whole nighttime thing, like my adrenaline is still going, like I'm still in the mode of restaurants, and I could be physically tired, but my brain's not yet. So I watch a lot of videos, like YouTube videos on my phone to go to bed. Like I can't just like zonk out.
Okay, Allure, it is time for me to put myself to bed. Thank you so much for following along, and I hope to see you at Arlo Gray someday.
There's always this one thing whenever I first close my eyes, and I have a pillow. I always have a pillow that I like to hug, and I've named it Susie. So no matter where it is, it's Susie, and Bianca really loves having Susie with us. She doesn't. So I get Susie, I hug her, and whenever I first shut my eyes, there's always a picture, there's always a thing, like one item that immediately comes into my brain. So it could be like, I shut my eyes and I'm like, ooh, pine cone. And so my weird OCD self needs to say it out loud sometimes. So I'm like, pine cone. And then Bianca's like, got it. And then that's it. So weird.
Good night. So I do want to take a minute and address the fact that we are still in a worldwide pandemic. And by no means am I taking away anything from any other industry, but speaking from my point of view and my experience, restaurants are in a tough spot. So many have already closed, which is incredibly heartbreaking. Millions of people have lost their jobs. And it's tough, it's really tough, but there are ways to support. Not only do you have takeout and delivery, you can buy gift cards, their merch, buying a meal and paying it forward if you don't live in that city, and feeding or donating meals through a restaurant to frontline workers. There's organizations like the Independent Restaurant Coalition and Roar New York, and ways to kind of keep on fighting the fight. So I do want to encourage everyone to give it a search, find out your local organizations, give back if you are able. Small actions make big impacts when we work together as a group of united people. So that's all.